Well, hey, now it's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM here once again for the second of 3 days this week with my tag team partner in podcasting, the Ramblin' Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
I'm sure I'm going to get the rambling tag yet again today when I meet with the consultant.
Yes, I know you have a busy day. You have to be out of here by the top of the hour. So we can do like at least a regular length one. There's no reason the SmackDown recap's going to be long.
No, I don't think it, I have quite a bit of thoughts on it, but I've got to save some of them because I know more of them are pertinent to tomorrow's. I'm very excited for tomorrow's podcast. That's our first WrestleMania together as podcast buds.
Yeah, as co-host for sure. And for the most part, we haven't really talked about results as far as our opinions go for WrestleMania.
No, I think I've tipped my hat a few times, but I've changed my mind quite a bit.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't even know what I think yet for some of these matches, and I don't know. I know which matches you're excited for, but I don't know what you think the outcomes will be yet. So I'm really excited about tomorrow's episode. Really happy we were able to give it 3 dedicated episodes this week. Because there's plenty to talk about. It's WrestleMania week. So why don't we go ahead and get started here? I have thoughts from SmackDown. My review of SmackDown, to be honest with you, is pretty positive.
Yeah.
SmackDown had a really good show. They definitely won the week, in my opinion. Would you agree with that? Better than Raw?
They've won the road to WrestleMania, I feel.
Certainly. Yeah. So what's funny is they kind of have different problems, if that's the right word, or different advantages, I guess you could say too, because we were calling Raw with their matches going into WrestleMania this Sunday as at least quoting me as quote creatively bankrupt.
Yes. And
SmackDown is having the opposite problem in that SmackDown, their stories are chock full of stories, which is great. But I don't know.
Too many stories.
I wouldn't even say too many, but the match, like under normal circumstances, I wouldn't care about Cena and Miz in a mixed tag team match, but they've made me care. And
they are MVPs, I think.
Oh my gosh, MVPs of the road to WrestleMania for sure. Raw's MVPs are Jericho and Owens.
Yeah.
But yeah, and what they did last night. And you can apply this to every night that they've had a program together, has been what they did last night was hot fire, man. It was awesome.
I put it as a note in my phone just to remind me next year to at least consider it for promo of the year.
But which one do you even go with? Because they've all been just as good. I mean, you can pick any of them.
They've all been great. I really loved last night. I liked that edge on Cena.
That was the difference last night to me, was Miz was just as good as always, but Cena stepped it up last night.
Cena stepped it up, and they limited Bella. What took me out of it, and I made a note right beside it. I did. I said, this could be promo of the year until Nikki Bella opened her mouth. And I was like, oh, you took me out of it because you're so stiff and stale.
What was I thought it was funny, if you watch her, she was just like laughing, clapping, and like just adding nothing. She was the Ed McMahon of the feud.
Hey, you are correct, sir.
That's right. Yes, sir. You're right, sweetheart.
But like when Cena takes his shirt off and the armbands and the hat, like it was all good. And the insults, she'll come over there and slap the Botox out your cheeks.
Well, and don't forget this. It was immediately following a really great vignette, a recorded promo, so to speak. Now, you don't watch Total Divas and Total Bellas, do you? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't, but I'm telling you, I got the jokes, and the Daniel Bryan jokes were great. He comes in on his knees.
It took me a second. At first, I was like, who the hell is portraying Daniel Bryan? And then I'm like, oh my God, it's The Miz. And they were using camera trickery, but they're playing everyone at the table.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Does John Cena really have house rules? Is that a thing?
That's what I'm saying. You would appreciate it more if you knew about those things. But yeah, he's portrayed as being the big thing was that they're getting at one of the biggest storylines they ever had on the show was when Nikki moved into John's house in Tampa, I believe. John had her sign this contract that John's lawyer wanted Nikki to sign about like a live-in agreement, or like, you know, what she's entitled to if they break up and what she's allowed to do. And that's where this whole thing came from. And if it made more sense if you had watched those episodes.
Okay.
And then when it came time for dinner, yes, there were very strict rules about the dinner table and about what you can do, what you have to wear. It was extremely strict. Their parody was dead on.
Really? Is you strict at the table?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's super interesting. You know, I don't know if any of it's put on for the cameras. I know those reality shows have a reputation of being anything but reality, but it seems like it's pretty legit. I don't know.
Well, it sounds interesting regardless, and I thought it was great. I love the shoot aspect of the promos. They've been going back and forth with one another. It's been a great feud. I don't think it's going to produce a good match.
That's the thing.
But that's to no fault of Cena or Miz. You've got Maryse, who never wrestles, and Nikki Bella, who I don't think is good.
Yeah, exactly. But I will take this because if you think about it, the match will be 20 minutes of but the buildup has been hours of hell yeah.
It's been worth it. It's been absolutely worth it. And I think if you put this promo up against the one that opened the show, this one hands down is one of the best I've seen in a while. The one that opened the show, I've heard people review it nicely. Like they liked it. And it was okay. I thought it was boring. I thought Shane and AJ Styles signing that agreement did nothing for me.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. And there was one part I specifically made a note about. Do you remember when, so it kind of started with Shane giving AJ a lot of credit. And then AJ started by giving Shane some credit. And AJ was listing off a list of people that Shane has wrestled in the past.
Right.
Names like Austin, Rock, Kurt Angle. Yeah, names, big time names like that. And that list is precisely why I resent Shane right now. Undertaker and names of this nature.
HBK.
Yeah, because this happened because you're the boss's son, not because you earned a spot. And I'm not saying he has bad matches. And I'm not,
he delivered in the matches.
Yeah, correct. But he doesn't deserve a list like this, and he certainly doesn't deserve that top 1% of the WrestleMania exclusivity guys.
Right, he has that, and you're right. If you look at the matches he has a Hell in a Cell match with the Undertaker. Then the next match he's in the Survivor Series main event. Then the next match he has is against AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And so I found something else interesting. I remember how you were you seemed kind of compelled by the little tidbit I told you about them first pitching the AJ match to Shawn Michaels.
Right.
So there was a backup plan for Shane too, which is crazy to me. But do you know what Shane's backup plan was?
What?
Or maybe I had this backwards, but I don't want to spoil it.
Maybe? Miz?
No, it wasn't Miz. The original plan for Shane at WrestleMania this year, and this obviously changed for obvious reasons, but the original plan for Shane was not AJ Styles. It was Brock.
Please.
I'm being totally serious with you, and it makes sense when you think about it. I forget if it was Survivor Series or SummerSlam. I think it was SummerSlam. Brock gave the F5 to Shane. And that was going to be the seed planted for a match between them. And obviously, when Goldberg came in, that made more sense to do that. And the AJ and Shawn Michaels thing fell through, so they gave AJ to Shane.
Wow. Well, you found a way to make me appreciate Goldberg more now than I was.
Well, I mean, but Shane's not the guy that we need to work into Mania. Like Taker, I kind of get. Hunter, a little bit. But Shane... I have a big problem with this, and I don't want to be the...
And working him in with Brock Lesnar, are you drunk?
Exactly. You're wasting a legit match, a money match right there. You know, like,
but maybe they see money. Maybe Shane McMahon is money.
Like that's the thing. Like AJ Styles, while he is probably the best guy on the roster right now, and you know I love AJ, he doesn't bring in a lot of non-wrestling fans the way Brock Lesnar does. You know, obviously when it comes to quality of matches, AJ Styles runs circles around Brock, but Brock brings in, like, people care about Brock matches.
Well, and that's the one thing that I find interesting in all of this. When we talk about Raw, when we break down SmackDown, we're talking about Miz, we're talking about Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. We're talking about, for better or worse, we're talking about Roman Reigns. We're talking about the Triple H match. We haven't spent a lot of time on Brock and Goldberg. When I was at my Muay Thai gym the other day, I mentioned the road to WrestleMania, and nobody knew anything other than Brock Lesnar's fight, and I heard Brock Lesnar's going to be fight.
Yeah, he brings in the non-wrestling fans. Exactly.
He brings in the UFC guys. That's what he does.
Yeah, and like you know, like, remember Big Boy, who I used to work with?
Yeah.
He's not really a wrestling fan, but he had tickets to the Raw in Detroit, and his thing was, will Brock or Goldberg be there? And he didn't even know they were wrestling at WrestleMania, but he just wants to see those big names. You know, like, those names are important, and they get a hard time for being part-timers, but remember, they have an important place. The people who watch this podcast are big wrestling fans. Right. So we look at it differently, but remember those fringe casual guys like Big Boy or whatever who will tune in if they care about something like Brock and Goldberg. You know?
So I get that, but the Shane thing, I agree with you 100%.
So we don't need to keep beating that drum. I've said my piece on that.
But aside from all of that, like, I still think it'll be a good match. The only thing I liked about that promo was AJ Styles pointing out that it's a wrestling match. Like, you can't get counted out, or you can get counted out. You can't jump off a cell. You can't be Shane McMahon. You got to fight me the way I fight. Shane McMahon, I hope, gets his butt whooped.
You know, I heard another rumor, and I thought that it was going to wind up going here, and it didn't. But I thought for sure it was going to be a, like, career match or something where someone was going to wind up fired, or if AJ loses, he gets fired, because I've been hearing they're gonna switch AJ over to Raw.
I've been hearing they're going to move Roman Reigns to SmackDown. Would that be the switch?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So,
boy, that would get me to stop watching SmackDown as much. No, I mean, I've enjoyed SmackDown, what they do now, but remember when the draft happened, remember what you said to me when you said AJ Styles, they drafted AJ Styles to SmackDown, and now I have to watch SmackDown. Like,
yeah. Well, and to be fair, I have not missed a single SmackDown since the draft.
Me either, and I've really enjoyed them.
Yeah, so there's that. You take AJ away, you're taking away a big thing, although I'm not sure I'd be upset about it, because generally I prefer Raw as a rule. And I will also say this. I bet you in the WWE's mind, they look at it as a fair trade. While you and I look at it as a big loss for SmackDown and a big gain for Raw, I bet you, if anything, WWE has a bit more stock in Reigns, or equal, but they don't have more stock in Styles than they do in Reigns, in my opinion.
Yeah, it'll please us, but they think that they'll bring more eyes to SmackDown probably.
Yeah, I think that they think of it as a win for SmackDown slightly, but I don't know for sure where their mindset's at on that. I don't know when they decide to cut bait on Reigns, but I hope it is soon. I'm afraid it will never happen.
They need a Reigns, sort of, but I wouldn't. They need faces, is what they need on SmackDown. They don't have very many good ones.
I'm cool with Reigns being a face. He's just a mid-level face.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And the only thing that I'll say about the beginning segment, the last thing I'll say is, I'm over Daniel Bryan. He's so boring.
This is not the role for him, you know, and my understanding is he really wants to wrestle again, and I get that. I'm not sure WWE is going to be the avenue for him, but I bet you he will be just as happy to go to an independent and wrestle for less money than he would be making the big bucks playing a GM on SmackDown. But everyone seems to be in agreement. We all love Daniel Bryan, but this is not the role for him.
This isn't for him. It really isn't. Kind of just like I felt that way about Mick Foley as general manager on Raw.
Yeah, and not only that, I would say Foley is more comfortable as a GM than Daniel Bryan is. Foley's a little better at it.
Right.
So I just honestly, and I know I might be just wishful thinking. I don't know what exactly the rule is with this situation. I hope there's a way that we can get Daniel to wrestle in WWE again, even if it's on a part-time schedule.
I hope so, just for no other reason than his feud with The Miz will be off the hook.
Yeah, my God, absolutely.
And that would be one of the best feuds because they've already been building it. It's naturally, it's just there. And man, the Miz, he's the unsung hero of SmackDown. He is.
Absolutely. And has been since, like, even when it was the Intercontinental feud with whether it be Ziggler or since the draft, even, and even before that, like his delivery rate has been consistent, man. It's been consistently awesome.
He's killing it, and he doesn't get hurt.
So where's Morrow? Boy,
I was thinking that last night. I thought this does not bode well for Mauro Ranallo.
You know what's funny? Let me ask you something. You know, you claim you don't read any news sites. Is that 100% for real, or is that still where you're at?
I read more now than I used to.
Okay.
The page thing had me looking around.
Yeah, sure.
I'll be honest. I don't look every day. I look maybe once a week. I will admit that this morning I checked some stuff just based on what Michael Virgin said on Facebook Post to Post show about the Hardy Boys. I started looking up Hardy Boy stuff just to see where they are in talks. But for the most part, you can bank on me not knowing when everyone else does.
Because I was seeing, you had mentioned the bipolar disorder last week, and I'm seeing that stuff all over the place now that he's suffering from his bipolar disorder and having a tough time with stuff. And I don't really know, I guess, how that works or whatever.
I have a few friends that are into wrestling that you're not friends with on Facebook, and sometimes I get things from their posts.
Okay.
So that's where I saw that. I saw, in particular, the bipolar thing I saw on another guy's post. And
I'll also be honest with you, you reported that before any of the news sites I checked did. And I don't...
Post to post with the win!
Well, yeah, I did. Exactly. But my question was, where'd you come up with that theory? And it looks like it's correct.
I saw somebody posted about it on Facebook, and I dug into the article, and someone had written about it last year, actually. About him being bipolar. And so I just kind of built off of that and speculated a little bit.
Do you know how old he is?
No.
I don't either. I'm curious because that feels like a very millennial reason to take off work.
Let's find out.
Thanks. He can't be a millennial, though. He's got to be older than us.
Boy, spelling his name is a sucker, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start. M. I could get M. Hopefully he's in the top 4 M's.
Did you mean Minotaur? No, I didn't.
Hold on.
No.
I know Morrow is Mauro. And then Ranallo, you're on your own. If you put in Morrow R, though, it will auto-complete that, won't it?
No, it's giving me like soccer players. We need Steve.
Steve, where are you? Hold on. Let me since we're live, let me just give this a shot here. I'm curious. It's the first Morrow that comes up for me.
Not for me.
All right.
I spelled Morrow wrong. 47 years old.
He's 47.
There it is. December 21st. He's an almost Christmas baby.
Yeah, but like this is a long way to get to a punchline, but I just feel like this is a very millennial reason to take off. I don't want to offend the people who suffer from bipolar disorder, but he's been off for 3 weeks now.
Yeah, how very Corey Graves of him.
And not only that, let's keep in mind, WrestleMania is Sunday. Like, are you plan on missing WrestleMania because you're having a bad day? Is
he in rehab? Is there something we're not hearing?
I know I'm coming off as very much like an a-hole, but I'm the kind of guy that's my mentality is always pull your pants up and go to work if you can. You know what I mean?
You got to get there. You got to go. Show must go on.
Yeah.
Because if you don't show up here, especially in this industry, because if you don't go to the show, guess who does? Tom Phillips. Tom Phillips goes to the show, and Tom Phillips is doing a good job, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And but Morrow is fantastic at his job. He's the one guy I really like,
because he's different, because he sounds different, and he's different.
I think he's got the potential to be Evans, like the really young kids, JR.
I hope whatever is ailing him gets remedied.
Because Morrow's got a lot longer left to go than like a Michael Cole does, I think.
Yeah, I'm 47, and he sounds young. He seems young.
Yeah,
he seems energetic.
So
I hope he's well.
Me too. Like I didn't mean to come off like a prick. If I did, I apologize. But it's obviously it's serious if he's missed 3 weeks already. But I mean, please come back.
Yeah, please come back, Morrow.
We'll trade you for David Otunga.
My God, I'll trade my shoe for him.
We'll wear David Otunga's to work.
Yes, please get him out of here.
And I had one other note. About the show last night. What were they thinking? Spoiling the Naomi return last night. That was just stupid.
My note's a little different than yours. Mine is, if she's healthy enough for Mania, why the hell did they strip her of the title if she's just going to come back 3 weeks later anyway?
I don't know.
They could have found a way for her to just not wrestle until Mania, since it was only 3 weeks.
Well, this was after the SmackDown pay-per-view, which I think was the first week of February.
Who cares? It's still not that long.
Yeah, you have the 1 or 2 matches. You carry them through it to get through the 30-day clause, and then or you find some way to get her through this. And
you don't strip her from it, but no, they blow the Naomi thing and.
But okay, but let's take it from where we are now, and Naomi has been gone and that's another thing I hate. John and I have been making fun of this for a long time, usually with Kane, because Kane though was the king of Kane got hurt and they'd go away and he'd come back 4 weeks later and they would sell his returns if he'd been gone for 4 years. I hate when they do this. You're right. Naomi's been gone for a month and a half.
It's not that long.
It hasn't been. First of all, it's Naomi, and second of all, she hasn't been gone long enough for us to miss her. So,
why are they building Naomi up to be this huge thing?
Yeah, because of the entrance. I feel like the glow thing, and she's got something there. But
they crowbarred that in at the end. Did you see she did her entrance at the end?
Just to remind you what she does.
I glow, feel the glow.
The point is that could have been a legit thing on Sunday. Not that we would really care, but some people would be like, oh, cool, I wasn't expecting to see her. I kind of forgot about her.
Right. And it's not like you needed her to show up on the go-home show to sell the pay-per-view.
Correct.
It's a cute little thing. Save it for the big one.
So that was my thought was, why are we spoiling? Why couldn't you just hold off, 5 days?
Yeah. And mine was, why'd you strip the title from her? This is stupid.
Yeah. And you know what? We're both right. Those are just 2 bad decisions. And not only that, when you think about where both the women's division on SmackDown and the tag division on SmackDown was in, I'll say October, think about the place those divisions were in, especially the tag division.
Right.
And what they've done they've Braun Strowman'd 2 divisions, just trying to break them.
They just the tag division is such a mess.
And it was so strong. And not only that, I thought they accomplished the impossible by making their division strong as quickly as they did. I thought adding a second tag team title was incredibly foolish. And they did the impossible, overcame so many odds, in my opinion, by making that division worth a damn. And then American Alpha wins and I am not blaming American Alpha. Do not interpret it as that.
No, it's not American Alpha's fault. What I find interesting is they've almost totally given up on the tag in SmackDown, and it's so obvious when you look at the Mania card.
What is the tag? I don't
You've
even
got
know
the Raw Tag Championship being defended in a ladder match, and which we found out about yesterday,
right.
and you have the tag champs on SmackDown in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Oh, so that was my question. Is there a tag title match on SmackDown at WrestleMania?
No, I saw the poster for the Battle Royal, and the picture has American Alpha standing in it.
No, the Usos are tag champs.
Oh, the Usos are standing in it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I saw the tag champ. I saw the tag belt on his shoulder. So it was the Usos, but I think American Alpha's in it too.
Wow. This is a new low. I didn't even realize this.
Yeah, they're in it, and the two that are and who are the two that are front and center as big as it gets for the Battle Royal picture?
I didn't. I was kind of when they were doing
Just
that.
Guess. You'll get it. Just guess.
Okay, the two who are front and center for SmackDown's Battle Royal.
No, it's not SmackDown's Battle Royal. It's the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
But for SmackDown or for Raw?
It's for both.
Okay, the Braun Strowman.
Yep.
And Big Show.
Yep, there it is. It's basically they should have just had those two fight.
Yeah, you're right.
I'd rather see them have a match than the Battle Royal.
Yeah, but again, they have this urge to get everybody on the show.
And they already gave you the Big Show Braun Strowman main event on Raw one week when they could have saved it for this.
Jer, they need us.
Why are we not at least considered for a low-paying WWE writer's job?
Yeah, we'll clean the floors up after your writers' meetings if you want.
I'll pick up the paper. Just let me throw a couple ideas, and also allow us to say, "Excuse me, that's not a good idea."
Right? Yeah. I just want the veto power. Exactly.
Just give me one veto. Just one. Yeah, that's all my notes except for the end. Do you want to get into the main event?
I don't have any thoughts.
Boy, I sure do.
All right, go for it.
So Bray Wyatt being champ, I'm so excited for it. And then they do the thing with Randy Orton, and I'm okay. I even thought to myself yesterday, I thought, you know what? I'm okay with like all this magical stuff. I love it. Burning down Sister Abigail, and he's rubbing ashes on his face, and like I like crazy Bray Wyatt. I think that's great. Now they go ahead and they give us a Bray Wyatt match against Luke Harper, and then he wins it. And I would have rather them saved and Bray Wyatt wrestling until Mania, but they used it last night. That's fine. And then Randy Orton comes out at the end of the show, or on the screen.
Yeah, on the screen. I'm with you.
He's back at the compound, and now he's got this thing that It reminds me of when I'm playing games with my son. Like if we're playing guns or something outside, we're playing a game where we're fighting and we're wrestling superheroes. And I'm like, I'm going to use my super gun, my super ray, and I'm going to blast you in the chest. And he's like, well, you can't because I've got super armor on. When the super armor is reflective and it bounces back and it hits you. And I go, well, yeah, well, I'm invisible. And like you just keep making up rules so you can't lose. And I feel like that's what Randy Orton did. He's like, I'm going to burn your house down with Sister Abigail in it. And bang, he burns it. And Bray Wyatt comes back and, whoa, I'm stronger now. You gave me powers. And then Randy Orton comes back next week. He's like, I may have given you powers, but now I have I took a for sale sign out of a yard, and then I put a paper plate on it with some red electrical tape, and now I'm going to dig it into the ground, and now you're going to lose. And look at the sparks that fly, and the fire's flying. Woo! Listen.
What? I hope you don't do that with your son.
They're just making stuff up now.
Yo, in all honesty, what you just said was low-key brilliant. Like, on the low, people watching that might just be like, oh, Jerry just got on one of his little crazy rampages again and started saying words. That was low-key brilliant.
Yeah, thank you.
Like, what you just said made so much sense. And there's no way someone could have said that better than the way you just said it.
Thank you. Do you think people think I sometimes just say words?
Well, someone who's worked with you since back to 2003, yeah. I've seen you just kind of go into word comas. We're just like, well, and they always make sense, and they oftentimes come out very funny. But there's sometimes where it's just word diarrhea, and that's
it's nuts.
But this was low key brilliant.
Thank you. Do you feel like I'm on the right track? Because that's what it looked like to me.
1,000,000%. They've given us no rules or structure as to what Bray's power source comes from. So now we're just making up rules as we go along, and it's exactly like that, where it's like you're playing Power Rangers with your son, and all of a sudden you shoot him. So you're like, okay, so you make up a rule. I've got a gun. So then Evan makes up a rule. I've got armor on. So then Jerry makes up a rule. Well, I just found armor-piercing bullets. And Evan says, well, guess what? This for sale sign blocks your armor-piercing bullets.
Yeah, I fashioned this stop sign into a makeshift crucifix, and I'm going to dig it into the ground. And for some reason, all the dirt and maggots and stuff, it's going to explode.
And when I touch the deck, I'm immune to all your powers. It's like it's just can you top this of changing the rules up as we go along? You're right.
Yeah, and I don't like. There's no reason and there's no way in the story for Randy Orton's not the magical one. He's not the one that's supposed to have the superpowers. It's Bray.
It's a very good point.
Randy Orton's not magical. He doesn't he's not hocus pocus. Like all of a sudden he's like, give me, I have Newton, toe of a frog, and poof. That's not what he does. He comes out of nowhere and gives you a stunner.
But we all know that witchcraft is real. So, I mean, if that did happen, it'd make a lot of sense to me.
Then a zombie comes right out of the pot.
Right. So, but yeah, you're right. Randy is not the magical one here. Although, to be fair, is it Randy they're saying is magical or Abigail?
Well, Abigail's magical, but how does Randy understand how to destroy her?
I guess for a period of time he was close with Bray. Maybe he learned enough. Maybe just throwing ideas.
Well, then where's Luke Harper's magic? Where's Eric Rowan's magic? They should be pulling rabbits out of hats by now. They've been with him since the beginning.
Listen, man, I know you got to get going. Thank you for your time. Do you have anything else you want to throw in before we wrap things up?
I am so excited for tomorrow's podcast.
Yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow is the bonus episode. We decided to give the WrestleMania predictions their own episode because this is the biggest weekend of the year for wrestling fans. And by the way, if there's ever like a podcast resume you need to put together, the last 5 minutes of this one should be your lead. You killed it in the last 5 minutes. Nice job.
Good thing I didn't do it from the top of a ladder.
Well, you can keep that one off, but if you need a thing to follow it up with, the time I told you about Lana's boobs.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, I would say that would be a good follow-up for you right there, too. So,
what about the one where I forgot you were taping and I started fighting with my wife?
That was the same one as the ladder. So good stuff right there, Jer. Hey, listen, have a good air check. I know those things suck.
Yeah, they suck.
Say hi to your consultant for me. For myself, the Rob, my tag team partner, brilliant Jerry Valeri. This is it for today, but tomorrow the bonus episode with your WrestleMania predictions. Don't miss it. It's post to post, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow, Ronaldo, as they say.
Tomorrow. And Abigail, who's now dead again, I guess.
See you tomorrow.